Welcome back, everyone, to another Saturday evening live stream. We're doing Euro Truck Simulator 2 tonight, this evening, whatever. And we're going to do a load for the All Europe Challenge from Belgium to Austria. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Let's see who's here early and on time. Ken Beard is here. Rob Strecker, aka Lurch, is here, and he's in the Discord with me to read your chat.
What's up?
Manny's not here. Phantom 6767 is here. Trucker Kitty is here. Matt Walter is here. And wait, wait. Matt, weren't you just didn't you just show up as a channel member moments ago? Did you just like in real time lose your membership? Did it expire? That's crazy. Am I imagining things, Lurch?
Oh, when I noticed what he asked in chat, he was great. So,
oh, okay. I guess I'm imagining things. All right. So we'll just move on and pretend I didn't say any of that. Japsai is here. Welcome back. And Susan is here. Flatbedder for 32 months. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. I like the fact that I didn't do that. Okay. Nightbot is here, so watch your P's and Q's. Turn off that caps lock key and don't spit out too many emojis or Nightbot will get you. You may wonder, do I read that off a script? Nope. It's amazing that I can even remember that most of the time. Let's see who else. Phantom still here. All right. Nightbot's still here. So I guess that must be why Rick Rashid is not here, at least not vocal. And Nightbot would get him. Okay, I'll do some shout outs quick and then we'll move on. Isabella Hagloff, Rob Strecker, aka Lurch, Bedrock, our top ATS driver for February 2023, Bill Welburn, Nicholas Triple XN. You know, I should have a script because sometimes I mess it up. And then most of the time, pretty much every stream, I forget to say something like, don't forget to hit that like. And if you're watching this later or even now and you're not subscribed, what's the holdup?
do that now.
Oh my God. I almost said that too because I watch his videos all the time. Susan
Like
Arthur. Yep. Susan Arthur, our top Euro truck driver for April 2025. And a channel member for 32 months. Yeah, every time I say that, start to say, subscribe, that's the voice in my head. Do that now. XLT 588 Gaming. Omega, it works because I subscribed. Omega Sunrise, our top ATS driver for January 2024. Trucker Kitty, Norwegian Trucker Nicholas, Big Al 2424, our top ATS driver for March 2025. And our top ATS driver for all of 2023. Tasmified, Trucker King 2010, Johnny Hansen, Lobo 1G. Our top ATS driver for July 2024. I don't know why I'm rushing through this. I'm not in a hurry. Pugwash, our top Euro truck driver for April 2024. And Pugwash is currently gimping around on crutches. Wim55, our top ATS driver for March 2024. Carlin, Taurus Sev Ice Bear, top Euro truck driver for August 2023. FTG Mike B, David Long, aka Shorty, our top Euro truck driver for September 2024. Okay. Let's see. Japsai is laughing at me. You did think I was using a script for that? I should. Taz is here. Hey, Taz. Welcome back. Hey-o. It's going to be your catchphrase. And Soundfix's pack is here. Welcome. Oh, my. So, what are we doing? Where are we at? So, yesterday, I took a load from Bosnia-Herzegovina to Belgium. And so now I am in Belgium. I had to jump over here to Liège. And we're going to go pick up a load over at Binderholz. And then we're going to take that to Austria, Vienna, I think. Yeah, right here. south of Vienna. The DHL. That's what we're doing. Then that'll probably be it. So let's get. That's another catchphrase of a channel content creator that I watch. Let's get to it.
That does sound familiar. I'm trying to place it now.
I can't remember his name. He uses his real name on for his channel name, and he does videos. Why am I getting reset? He does videos associated with setting up things like OBS.
Oh. I just realized where I remember it from, and it's not that though.
Whoa.
A Polish rug cleaner.
Oh. Susan bought 3 copies. Thank you, Susan.
Today I will show you another interesting video. Let's get started.
I'm going to go around this way and uncover some more territory. We're not in a big hurry to go get this load. Well, we know the coffee grinder sound effect is working.
Hey, Willie.
Willie! It was too perfect. Okay. Well, Japsai, that's because I do it so much. For once in a while, though, I forget it. I lose track of what I'm trying to say.
I was telling Boomer this before the stream started, but I'm going to repeat it again for all of you. Don't you think it's incredible that Trucker Kitty not only can type, but he can speak in a southern accent? Yow, yow.
Well, he was born down on the bayou. Y'all didn't know that, did you? I'm not from there, but I've lived there.
There's Matthew Roth.
Welcome. Yeah, I used to live in southern Mississippi, right on the Gulf Coast, or really, really close to it anyway. In a community called Diamond Head, which is very close to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. About an hour away from New Orleans. Anyway, there's a cemetery in that community, or just outside that community, that was literally called Rotten Bayou Cemetery. and it was just, I don't know if it was a play on words or whatever, because it was the bayou, which is like a French word for swamp or lake or whatever. It was called Rotten Bayou, and they made a cemetery there. So that's how it got its name, Rotten Bayou Cemetery.
I was going to get to that, Pilot. Pilot says, tell Boomer to turn his overlay on because Trucky is bouncing up and down.
Well, that is annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bouncing between just 1 or 2 lines.
Well, I still gotta see it.
Well, we also still see those last few things going up and down too, so even with the overlay on.
Yeah. Well, that'll clear up at some point whenever it's not word wrapping. Anyway, so my daughter brought a kitten home from her friend's place without asking me first. You know, because she understood the principle of, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Because I would have said no if she'd have called first. We didn't need another pet. We had a dog and a cat already. Now this
Yes.
Trucker Kitty, we got him. He wasn't even weaned yet. So we had to bottle feed him for a little bit. But, you know, my daughter's friend, they wanted to disperse the kittens as quickly as possible. So my daughter brought one home. And then my daughter went on a pre-planned school trip for 2 weeks. Not right away, but, you know, in a fairly short period of time after that. And so Kitty Cat bonded with me. We've been together ever since.
As Pilot Bro said, can we keep him?
Oh, my daughter, she had it. She knew, you know, it's like the lower lip and everything.
She had you wrapped around her little finger, huh?
Yeah, you know. Well, by that time, you know, my daughter she was in high school and everything, but she wasn't, you know, a little girl by that time. But, you know, I like cats. I had a tough time saying no after she, you know, it was a fait accompli. The cat was there. And I have a soft spot in my heart for cats, which is why I watch a lot of cat videos. Like the one that Lurch and I were discussing before we started the stream today.
Billy says, heartwarming story.
Yeah, well, let's see. Trucker Kitty and I were together for over 20 years. So,
Wow.
long time. Okay, so it's a Coca-Cola trailer. How much time is on the clock? 8 hours and change, so I need to find a place to park in about 7 hours.
Howdy,
there.
Boomer in chat.
That must be Lobo. Howdy. Welcome to the stream, Lobo, Pilot, Matthew Roth, and Willie. Although I guess I did welcome Willie earlier. I
have a sad kitten story, but I won't share.
Well, it's like saying posting something in the chat about how ProMods has got a post on Facebook about something, and then not saying anything else until we pried it at you. Oh, that was crazy. I should have posted that GIF, the one where the that guy goes, "Well, we're waiting." Okay, so I found a place to stop for the day, for the night, and then we'll move on to wherever. So 8 hours out. Is that what I said I wanted? Yeah, one of these days I'll share some photos of Trucker Kitty when he was still a kitty. Not so much kitten, but young cat, like after we had him fixed. He sat funny. That's why I mentioned the part about being fixed. Actually, he didn't sit so much as he sprawled out on his belly, his legs sticking way out behind him.
Oh, what the heck, I'll share. On the way, taking the wife to work, it was about 3 years ago, actually, I think. And as we were passing the gas station just after crossing the railroad tracks, I see something moving in the road. So I stop, get out. It's a little kitten that's dragging its hind legs as it's moving across the road. So I pick it up and call the local shelter on the way to, as we're taking wife to work. And, are you open? Can I bring this kitten that we found? And they were, and we dropped it off afterwards. But kind of got a soft spot for it. And after about 2 minutes, when they examined it, came out, they said there was nothing that they would be able to do for it. But at least it got to know some human kindness at the end.
Well, that is sad. Now I'm gonna drive depressed.
We decided to give it a name anyway. We myself and my older daughter, we decided to call it Oreo. It was a black and white.
Yeah, what Pilot said. Maybe Japsai has a better story.
Well, what Boomer and I were talking about before, some of the cat videos where it actually sounds like the cats talk. Are you stuck? I am.
Now, those are funny. But I'm still depressed. Poor kitty.
Yeah, Pilot, I know.
Ooh.
Kifness. There's a guy that makes songs with some of those.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
hadn't heard that.
Yeah, he takes viral or videos off of like TikTok or YouTube, and he'll do live looping mixes with them. There's one with a different cat. I go meow. Another one, Big Billy. Elliot Halsey, good evening everyone in the live stream.
Hey Elliot, welcome to the stream. We are, and maybe we already have, left Belgium on our way to Vienna, Austria.
Just met Japsai, huh? One of the things I like about Kifness is, for a couple of his videos that he did with cats, some of his musically talented viewers from around the world did their own little collaborations with him, and he got a hold of those and merged them together with his video and made it even more awesome. And he even shares a portion of the royalties he gets with the original video creator. Elliot says, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers around the world celebrating the day today.
Yeah,
tomorrow, as the case may be.
tomorrow. Tomorrow for us. I guess it's tomorrow for you already. Yep. Today, for us, it is still Saturday, June 14th, which in the U.S. is Flag Day. And it also happens to be the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States Army. And that is important to me as a veteran of the United States Army. And if I'd have been thinking about it clearly enough, I might have, well, I would have had to drive American Truck Simulator, but if I'd have thought about it and planned for it, I could have done something in ATS today to mark the occasion, but I didn't, because I'm not really good at that kind of stuff.
Willie says, "Happy birthday, U.S. Army."
Yes.
Tasnified says the parade ceremony was pretty good. I think half the budget was spent on fireworks.
Really? I haven't seen any of the coverage. I wanted to, but I was busy with other things. Maybe I can catch some of it later. I like watching trains. Is actually quite a nice Autobahn. Three lanes. That's unusual for Euro Truck.
Willie says, which reminds me, I have to go bring in my flag.
Yep.
And Elliot says it would be great if you had a U.S. flag livery all around your truck to celebrate 250 years.
Well, that's the 250 year celebration is for the United States Army. Now, of course, the flag, the usage of the flag would still be relevant, but more relevant would have been the U.S. Army shield. I think that's what it's called. It's actually kind of neat looking. Each of the U.S. services has a, for a better term, a shield. And so, if I were gonna do something, I would have worked with Nicholas some time ago to get an image of that on either side of the trailer, along with a U.S. flag, and maybe even some scenes of U.S. forces, U.S. Army rather, in action, like they do with the recruiting posters and stuff, videos. Well, now I'm really bummed out. I wish that I worked, thought to do that, because now I'm thinking of all kinds of great ideas.
Elliot says shield or crest.
Yeah, it could just as easily be called a crest.
Which is what Tassified also said, crest.
Okay.
Each regiment has crests, never a shield.
Yeah, in the U.S. Army also, units, different levels of units have their own crest. Often with a some slogan in Latin. Sometimes in English, though. So I wore 2 or 3 different crests during my time, and they were we usually wore them on our hats. We didn't wear berets when I was active duty. We wore the old olive green baseball cap, and we would wear the crest up here at the top, and then in the middle would be our rank insignia. I think it's different now. In the Army, at least back then in the 80s, the crest, it was either divisional crest as well as a shoulder patch. Could be corps level, which is usually a corps has 2 or 3 divisions in it. Sometimes that's the crest, but it also depends on, you know, what type of a unit you're in, whether you're a support unit or a combat arms unit. So you either wore a corps level or a divisional level or a regimental level crest. And I think because in my field we were always in a support level, so we would always wear, we weren't associated with any particular division. We were a support unit at the corps level.
Carlin is here.
Hey Carlin, welcome to the stream. We are driving a load for the All Europe Challenge from Belgium to Austria. I think we've got motorway pretty much all the way there. Could be mistaken. Well, I guess I could wait till we stop at our rest area for the night. 3 hours. Oh, that's got to be coming up soon. starting to think that guy in front of me was reading chat. Maybe he was just misreading his GPS. So, anybody in the audience who's not in our VTC that is doing the challenge on your own? If you're not and you're interested in doing that, there is a link to our community website in the description below. The link takes you directly to the page that explains everything and has the list of countries. And the sequence. Are we really going that way? I guess we really are. We're not going to any of those cities. It's not our rest area, but I'm gonna stop anyway, just because we've only got 6.5 hours to go from here. We can stop early.
Carlin says, I'm one of those who likes to hang out for now, but I know where to find the information when I have time to be more active in the community.
Oops. Oh yeah, this is the way. Well, this rest area looks familiar. Willie, isn't this the rest area where we stopped and took a photo and we watched that an AI truck go back and forth through the wall? Seems to me that that's what happened. JJ Man 1982, Thor Rasmussen, our top Euro truck driver for January 2025 and our top Euro truck driver for all of 2023. Nick, David H74, RD04 Dave, our top ATS driver for March 2023. Broken, Douglas Williams, JC Drives, our top Euro truck driver for March 2025. Thomas Berger, Matthew Roth, Doom 3, Lee Jenkins. Let's look at the map while we're sitting here. We've got, oh, I guess I can just clear that in. We have 438 kilometers to go. Lee01 Mr. Phantom 6767. Our top Euro truck driver for October 2024. Jennifer Roth. Colin Percival. There's the yawns. Thumper and Bo. Pancake Man. Ken Beard. Rick Rashid. I think my theory is Rick Rashid's not here because he's afraid of Nightbot. Road Trip Nerd, Grumpy Gruntpaw Gaming, Stiggy Stigs 122, Ken Maselman, Avnish Awashti, Mr. Whiskey TV, Whitby Gaming,
Elliot.
Aiden. What? Am I a different what? Different wheel trims on the side middle of your truck. Because one of them is a drop axle. I think. Or a steer axle. I thought it must just be a steer axle. I thought it might be a pusher or drop axle, but it won't go up. So
thinks it's a wheel cover.
It is, but they are different configuration between the two axles. I think the rear one is the drive axle, and the front one is not, or the other way around. Yeah, when I set this truck up, to the extent that I could, I set both axles up the same. Usually. It's interesting that you would notice that, considering how little of that area of the truck I've shown during the stream. And this thing feels like a gutless wonder. 22 tons of empty pallets, and I have a tough time getting going. It's all good once I get up to speed, but it's the getting up to speed that's a problem. 22 tons, I don't know, 44,000 pounds, or give or take.
Testified said I noticed it too, but thought it was a special tag lift.
Right, I did too, but apparently it's not, or at least it won't go. I thought I'd get a message when I hit the button. If there's a lot of weight on it, then it'll say it can't, can't lift. But it does have the fender over the top, so that tells me it's probably just a steer axle. Not steer from the steering wheel like the front axle is, but just one that reacts to the turning of the truck. That's my theory at the moment until I have a chance to check it out.
And Willie said he pays attention to detail.
And then there's that. And now that we're up to speed, we're just cruising along, not a steep incline or decline, just kind of cruising along, getting fairly good fuel economy at 35.5 liters per 100 kilometers. have that other cat up there. Keep thinking I should get rid of that. And whatever that other thing is.
Willie says this Friday will be the longest day of the year.
June 22nd or 21st? Must be 22nd. No, 21st. Sure it's Friday?
Is what he says.
I thought it was the 21st. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I am no expert on that. But I know it's about that time every June and December. The summer and winter equinox.
Solstice.
Solstice?
Yeah. Equinoxes
See?
are March and September.
Oh, clearly I don't know that much about that. Could have swore it was equinox. Yeah, solstice, yeah. Ah.
Willie adds first day of summer according to my calendar.
Well, I just know it's hot. It's gonna get hotter.
Goes right back to another thing we were talking about before the stream.
Yep. We have the Simpsons weatherman out here. He's got a quick answer. It's hot. Tomorrow's gonna be hot. In fact, all month it's gonna be hot. We got a cold front coming in next weekend, according to the weather forecast. The highs won't even hit 100. They'll come close, but they won't hit 100. Yep, that's a cold front. But the next 3 months will be hot.
In fact, why don't we just save you some TV time for the next 3 months? Oh my God, it's hot. With
Yep.
some sprinkles mixed in.
Not really. Not likely.
Oh, monsoon doesn't reach there?
Yeah. But, I mean, we could have some rain, but it's... For us, typically, monsoon means that it just gets more humid than normal.
Soundfix's notes, quite a few AI trucks doing a sneaky overtake today.
Yeah, what's up with that now that you mention it? Because I'm doing the speed limit. Well, I was doing the speed limit. I'm going a little over now.
Taskified says, tell me you live in the desert without telling me you live in the desert.
From one desert dweller to another. So, Taz, are you in the higher desert than I am? The altitude here is around 2,900 feet. I know Mojave and Edwards Air Force Base is high desert. You're not too far from there, right? Okay. So you're approximately. I
Higher.
think Kingman is a little bit higher than that. I think they're around 3,300 feet, 3,400 feet. I think.
Well, he says he lied 2,200 feet.
Oh. So a little less than here. But here's something that I remember about that area. Once upon a time, no, not here. Once upon a time in my younger years, I was hitchhiking across that area from Bakersfield to Barstow. Well, actually, I was headed to Kingman, but that area. We wound up. I was with another guy for the journey. We wound up walking up from, as I recall, we walked from Bakersfield past Tehachapi, up the hill to Tehachapi, and then somewhere around Mojave. And we actually spent the night out in the desert, a couple hundred yards off the highway. We were, I think it was, I'm not sure the time of year, but I think it was mid to late spring, but I'm only guessing. We froze that night. It was hot as heck during the day, but we froze that night. That's when I got my introduction to high desert weather. It's like living on Mercury. You know, when you're on the side facing the sun, it's scorching hot, and then when you're on the other side, it's freezing cold. I had no idea. I was ill prepared. Oh, that was a valuable life lesson. Never did that again. It's also when I learned that hitchhiking could be a scary time. Oh, got a ride from one guy the next morning through that area. It was somewhere around Edwards. We got picked up by this guy. He was a young guy, probably our age. What a freak! Oh my goodness, that's when that road, California Highway 58. That was before it was a little bit more modernized, and there was all the washes in the road. So it was like a roller coaster, and this guy was a maniac. Couldn't wait to get out of that car. He was a crazy driver. I remember being in the back seat, and I was looking out the back window ready to tell somebody, help us. That That was crazy. I think he let us out in Bakersfield somewhere.
Tesmified says, I've done a lot of camping out here, and there's about 4 months out of the year we didn't have to have a fire at night.
Well, I tell you, that night that I was out there, I wish we'd have had a fire. Oh, crazy times. It's amazing that we didn't get picked up and killed by some serial killer or something. Amazing. Oh, we're only just a little over 80 kilometers away from our destination. Get to talking and lose track of time.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, the crazy things you do when you're young. I was about 23 at the time. But I had someplace I had to be, and I didn't have money for even bus fare. Fortunately, on the, I think it was the return trip, I think my mom bought me a bus ticket. I probably, when I shared the story of what happened, I think she bought me a bus ticket to go back. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Kilometers to go.
Destination on the map. Lily says, are we there yet?
Just about.
Wiz Nation is here.
Hey,
Sorry
Wiz.
I'm late.
I see you're back to driving. That's good. How's your leg?
It's better, he says.
Good. I know that's not the only thing that you're dealing with, but
He says, I think I did 5 loads last night.
wow. It looks like I've been here a time or two. That's where we're going, down in the well.
Wiz adds, I just looked, I'm still number 1. And he needs to ask something about OBS.
Okay. Well, maybe we can get together later. Depending, I got to do some dinner after this.
Is okay. Sounds good.
$991 kilometers, it says. So let me get up here on the level flat ground here. So flipping the switch for the drop axle doesn't do anything, so that's obviously not what that is. Oh, I thought there, oh yeah, right here, there's a shop. Right there. Let's go check it out. I want to go, now I'm curious about that axle. I think I know the answer, but well, I guess one way to do it would be to look. Does it turn? Doesn't appear to be turning. I don't know. I don't know.
Carlin says it would be funny if AI Trucker Kitty would react to bad driving.
Yeah, actually it would. It's an Iveco dealer. Any repairs? No. First of all, let me look on here. So this is just a 6x4. So it's got 2 drive axles. Huh. Really? That's it? This just happens to have a hatch cover and this does not? Oh, it has a different. Well, that's the answer. That is so silly. I completely missed that. All right, let's get the interior then, and I don't need this. Lucky Cat. I don't need Lucky Cat. What a coffee mug. I already got one. I already got a coffee mug. Really need any of that stuff. Ghost, Candle of Hope, Neon Heart. Hanover City mug, JCB mug. Already got the L. Matterhorn. That's fine. And this thing. Wait. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Get rid of that. Ah. Let's see what we got. I didn't actually want to do another load out here because it's going to be a long way to the next destination, which is Remember what it is, Lurch? Albania.
Let me look.
It's a long way to Tipperary. DJ Yates, Mr. Heath W. Collins, Shredder 89, Josh, Ismaili Adam 20, Pupils, Truck Dog Gaming. I'm looking for something to one of these places. You can actually start typing.
Yep, Albania's next.
TIR. Nope. Ures. Nope. And the last one I think is Vlora. VL. Nope. Nada. Freight market.
Adam is late. Says he forgot you were on.
Jap's Eye. Boo Father 38. Daniel Simpson. Jack Fox Gaming. Joshua Morrow. And Sick of It All. Aren't we all sick of it all? So I've already done the searches. What if I go here? Bras to BL. Nope. BI. Nope. And what was the last one? Perez. Nope. From Klagenfurt. Nope. Lens. Okay, this is not going to be fun or pretty. Apparently. Only one left to check out, Innsbruck. Nada. Well, that's disconcerting. I guess I will have to get back into the truck and sleep again.
Not a 3D says, huh?
No, not Nada, N-O-T-T-A, Nada, N-A-D-A. But welcome to the stream. Oh. Yeah, Taz, I must have been tired when I configured that. Because clearly, they're the same. Silly me. Okay, that was funny. Nada. Yeah, I was saying nada, not nada. Okay. Did I sleep yet? No. Lost track of what I was doing. Now, this won't help with World of Trucks loads. But it will potentially with freight market. You know what? I'll do it again. Second. So TIR PUR VL. Oops, VL. Hey, there's one. How about that? From DHL, where I just delivered, going to Vlore, Albania. So 1,375 kilometers. That's a bit much. But a bit much for the stream. I'm going to book it, see how it goes. But I'm tired and I don't want to go over too much. Oh, wait. Oh, Oh no, I didn't sleep.
Uh-oh.
All I did was advance the time. Am I gonna lose that load? Oh my god, that's crazy. I must be tired. Yeah, I think I lost that load. It was freight market, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's still there. Well, let's see what happens. But I don't want to be late.
Greg Elray says hello, Boomer, in chat.
Hello, Greg.
And
Welcome to the
Soundfix
stream.
Soundfix Pack says plenty of time to pick up that load. And Pilot Bro says time expired is how long until pickup, not delivery.
Oh. Well, I didn't even look at any of that. I was just excited to find that I had a load going to Albania. It's still there. How about that? Floor panels is what this is. What is it? 19 tons. Okay. And how much time do I have to get it there? 41 hours. I got enough time to do one sleep. 21 hours of driving plus a 9-hour sleep. That's 30. Should be good. So where are we going? How are we getting there? Going through Budapest. Through here. Man, that's a long drive. Guess we better get on with it. That is going to put us over. I might not finish it during the stream. Well, I did do the shout out, so I'll just get on down the road.
Pilot Bro says you can do it.
Well, it wasn't a matter of could I, it was a matter of should I. Try to take a load this long, this late into the stream. That was really the only issue in my mind. It's over an hour of real time. Well, I guess I don't have to have dinner, alright?
Testified says hammer down.
Yeah.
Set cruise at 90 and forget all traffic laws, says pilot.
I need some good hardcore points to go with this. Speaking of which, I should have had some decent hardcore points on that last one, except for distance and weight or mass.
.2 stars, 390 points.
Oh, that's not bad. 4.2 stars, that's good.
Yo, 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 Grandpa Boom Boom is here.
And there he is.
Pilot versus wait, I've been behind this whole time?
Behind? Behind what? You mean behind me in the challenge? Yeah, the whole time. Oh.
Oh, the live button wasn't red. Rashid says wanted to give Nightbot a break.
That was thoughtful of you.
Sound Faces Pack has to go, says take care.
See ya, thanks for dropping in. Oh, you know what? I should have let the rain go. I had rain earlier today before the stream started. You guys could have heard the new rain effects maybe that Sound Fixes Pack put on his mod. I forgot. I'm not going to do 90 because the speed limit here is 80. But we'll do 80.
And I'm just wondering if you've been on a dirt road that's shake the cab from side to side.
Yep. Not very often. We have a, there was a place out here just outside of Las Vegas. It was basically, it's a quarry of a sort. Kind of like they have in the game. except that instead of driving down to it, I had to drive up to get to the area where I had to go pick up what I was getting. Of course, I had to drive down going out, but it was dirt road. It was gravel road the whole way. Very bumpy. And I went there to get dirt, basically. I didn't know you could load dirt into a dry van trailer. And I went there a few times. Usually whenever after I had home time, I'd look for a load, and that's what I would get. And I would take it was minerals. It was dirt, but I mean it was some kind of minerals. And I would take it to landscaping supply places in California, and gardeners would buy that stuff and they'd mix it into their soil, or in their gardens. And yeah, so some of you may have seen, and I should put a video together of that. The way that they unloaded that was I had to back up onto this thing, back up a ramp, and there's something like this in the game in Euro Truck, actually. And I think I went to one last week. You actually back up onto this contraption, and you disconnect the trailer, and then you pull forward in the truck. You pull forward clear of this contraption, and it lifts the trailer up and dumps everything out like a dump truck. It's really quite interesting.
She says, don't forget to sweep it out after.
Yeah, I had to get a washout. Ooh, which really 50. It just made it kind of muddy. I don't remember if I had to sweep. I guess I probably did sweep it as opposed to a washout. I may have done a washout later. But it was the van, the trailer that I used, it had a wooden deck. I must have swept it out. Always had a push broom in my truck.
Adam, notice when you going down dirt roads, the shock absorbs the bumps and the cab shakes very little.
Well, it depends on the size of the bumps, but yeah. Especially when you have a newer truck. Your shock absorbers in the suspension, they absorb some of that, and then on the back of the cab there's shock absorbers. So the cab, it's hinged at the front, and then there's shock absorbers in the back. But the videos that I have of, I think from a couple of different, one or two different times that I went to that quarry, it was really fairly early on in the time that I was recording, and I didn't have a very good camera then, so it's not a very good quality recording for part of it. But the part where I was getting loaded, that turned out okay. That was interesting. The way that works, and I got loaded with potatoes the same way. They have this big conveyor that goes inside your trailer, so you back up to that conveyor, and you got somebody telling you how far to go, And so you're just backing up until the conveyor, the front of the conveyor, is up near the front of the trailer. And then when you're in position, they turn on the conveyor, and it just brings this dirt into your trailer and dumps it on the ground, or on the floor of the trailer. And then they have you pull forward a little bit, and then pull forward a little bit, and then pull forward a little bit until it's done. Then you have to go get weighed. They have a scale on site. So you take an empty weight, and then you take a loaded weight, and then whatever the difference is, that's how much dirt you got.
Gasmified says, neat little tidbit I learned about Scania. They have suspension at all four corners of the cab. I believe most of the manufacturers in Europe do.
Well, judging by how much the cab does this while I'm driving, I think they modeled it that way. But American trucks are different. You could see, and they added this several versions back, but the hood is separate from the cab, and you could tell that it moves independently of the cab.
Says, I think on most cab overs the shocks are at each corner of the cab, separate from the suspension of the axle.
Well, I'm not sure on American cab overs, and I didn't know about European cab overs. But in traditional modern trucks in the US, they are hinged in the front and they have suspension in the back, even on day cabs. By the way, when I was riding with my trainer, he'd be driving and I'd be in the back sleeping, and it's like it's being rocked like a baby, you know. It was crazy. The sleeper part had the most sway in it, and I was just rocked to sleep. No problem going to sleep.
Adam adds, it's the placement of the shocks. 2 in the front and 2 are behind the cab. Rashid says the FLB cab over shocks are crazy.
Here's something that's crazy. In the last few weeks before I came off the road, one of the loads that I picked up, I picked it up in northwestern Iowa. Picked up a load of the shock absorbers that are on the back of the cabs on American trucks. Or on the back of the sleepers, but you know, even day cabs are on the back of those too. So I picked up a full load of these things, and found out what they were because I tended to ask a lot of questions when I was at a shipper that I hadn't been to before. And that's what they were. And I was taking them to Laredo. I'm pretty sure it was Laredo. And they were being, well, I know if that's where, if they went to Mexico, then I took them to Laredo. But the truck assembly plants were in Mexico, or are in Mexico. I don't remember which manufacturer they were, but anyway, I took these to Laredo, and then they got taken across the border and then on to the assembly place, and they were put on the trucks there. Have always been fascinated by the logistics aspect of the trucking industry. In my first few weeks, when I was out on the road with a friend of mine, didn't even have my, well, I guess I did have my CDL at that point, but we went to Buffalo, New York. Well, no, not Buffalo. It was Niagara Falls. It was near Buffalo, New York, but it was Niagara Falls, or Niagara. And we went to some industrial place where we picked up a load of tubing, like copper tubing or aluminum tubing, I don't remember which. But it was just pallets, long pallets of long tubing. And we took that to a manufacturing place in South Bend, Indiana. And I got to go inside and while they were unloading. And I talked to the gal that worked on the dock, and I was asking them, well, what do you guys do with these tubes? And she pointed out into the production floor, and there were all kinds of people out there taking these tubes, and they put them in these jigs, and they were putting bends in them in all kinds of places. And she said they make hydraulic lines for tractors. And so when they got done making these hydraulic lines in all kinds of different configurations, they would then get shipped on to the next part of the production chain. I don't know if it went to a tractor factory or if it went to a different production before it got to the tractor factory. But it was really fascinating to me to see all the different steps along the way that I was involved with. We picked up brake pads one time and took them to some place in Maryland. Another time we picked up mufflers. I don't remember where those went. But some of these places are out in the middle of cornfields. I found it all fascinating. I'm sure that the same thing happens over here. Yeah, it doesn't take long to get out of control in that view. Did I pick a place to stop? I don't think I did. I forgot to plan a stop. All I could think about was I need to get on the road. I had get-there-itis. So we got... So I need to find someplace 4 hours out. Whew. We are almost to, is this Serbia? A lot of options here. What's this? 2 hours. That's not going to work. Far enough. Here we go. That'll do it. That's pushing it, so we got to hurry up. Get on down the road.
That's not a good thing to hear.
What?
Oh, something in the background I heard here at the house.
Oh.
Hear my wife telling kiddo, "What are you doing on my phone?" Carlin asks, would you start OTR trucking earlier in life if you could do it over again?
Yes. I've thought about that many times. I mean, things happen in our lives, I guess, for a reason, the way that they do. There's a lot of times, and sometimes valid reasons, why people say, oh, I wish I'd have never X, you know, whatever that is. And there's been a lot of times where I've said, you know, I wish that I'd have gotten into trucking sooner in life, like in my 20s, instead of when I was 50. Because I really like being a truck driver. The problem with that idea is that had I done that, first of all, it never occurred to me. Second of all, had I done anything differently, my life would have been completely different. More than likely, we wouldn't be here together now. Because things would have progressed differently. And, you know, not to be morbid, but, I mean, something bad could have happened as a result of being a truck driver longer. Could have been in a bad accident. Because, you know, if I'd have started in my 20s, well, I made a lot of poor choices in my 20s. Like that hitchhiking story I was telling you about. That wasn't too bright. But I only did it out of desperation. Or necessity, I guess is a better word. Anyway, so there's, you know, I was a lot less mature at 25 than I was at 50. I had to go to the X-ray hall. And so, who knows what bad decisions I might have made. So, yeah. Not only that, there's a lot of things I would not have learned. Life skills, work skills. You know, when I was in the military, I was a technician, so I learned a lot. I learned electronics, which is how I eventually wound up in the casino industry. I was a technician, worked on the gaming equipment. That carried me forward into the corporate world and middle management. I learned a lot of skills. I learned, you know, how to use a lot of software like Excel. Oops, I'm going to hit that curb. Like Excel and Word and, you know, all the regular office products. I might still have learned a lot of that, but I wouldn't have learned the proficiency. All the things that I know how to do in Excel that I use in this role that I have right now. I don't know that I would have learned all that stuff because I learned it from other people. A lot of it. As the normal course of my job back then.
Carl and Ads, I think you have some really interesting experiences. I enjoy hearing about them.
I've had a lot of interesting experiences in my life. Both good and bad. A lot of good. A lot of good things. I've had a lot of, and that's another thing too, I would have missed out on a lot of those really good life experiences. I've been involved, not you know, I'm not a Forrest Gump kind of person, but I've been involved in a lot of interesting things in my casino career. New casinos. I learned that I found out that I enjoyed project management. I had responsibilities in different roles, responsibilities for millions of dollars of, making decisions that affected millions of dollars. So that was neat to be able to say that. Because of the opportunities that I had, I got to live another dream, and that was to learn how to fly. So I took flying lessons and I learned how to fly. And because of my exposure in the casino industry, not working in a casino at that time, but doing something related, I made a lot of money, and I was able to buy an airplane even. Well, me and the bank, because I financed it. But loved flying. That's something else that I miss. How cool is that? Take friends up flying, take your family up flying. Pretty cool. I got to experience a lot of neat things over the years. Had I got into trucking early on, like, I don't even know how that could have happened. I didn't have any exposure to it in my 20s. I was in the military until I was 23. And my background at that point was in electronics, and so anything I was going to do was going to involve electronics, not truck driving. Even though I drove a truck in the military, not like this, but military truck, as one of the things that I did. It wasn't my job, but it was one of the things that I had to do. So there's virtually, I can't even conceive of an opportunity or a reason why I would have fell into trucking in my 20s. But that's neither here nor there. Given the opportunity to go back and do things differently, knowing what I know now, it'd be real tempting to get into trucking early on. So that's a long way to, whole lot of talking to answer that question, I think.
Carlin adds he was an electronics tech too. Rashid said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Rashid jokes like rigging the slot machines for fewer payouts.
Yeah, but only when Rashid was coming.
And Adam also says, very interesting to hear your story.
For the record, Rick, that's not how they work. Not how any of that works. There's nothing good to be gained by doing that. Bad for business.
Adam Whereas in my high school days, I didn't know job skills because the schools in my area didn't have job programs. That's why I would like to know the responsibility of having one.
Yeah, I got my early exposure to all that stuff when I joined the military. That was the best thing I ever did early on. I learned a lot of life skills, and I learned a trade, and that led to other things. All of that led to where I am now. Yeah, I struggled in school, in the military, and as I've said before, I was in the Army, but I went to an Air Force technical school in Aurora, Colorado, Lowry Air Force Base, which no longer exists. It's a subdivision now, with a golf course. And that golf course used to be on the Air Force Base. But yeah, learning electronics was important.
Oh, it says JROTC?
Nope. No, I didn't go to college. And as far as I know, they didn't have a program like that in my high school. Not that that would have done me any good. Is this really a lane, or should I? No, I should not be in this lane. Ooh, oops. Yikes. But it is interesting, my ASVAB scores were pretty high, which is why I got into electronics. Because when I joined, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just thought you went into the Army and that was it. They gave you a rifle and off you went. That's not it. So you take ASVAB tests. I forget what the ASVAB stands for, but you take these it's like entrance exams, so to speak, to find out what your aptitude is. And based on my scores, they thought that I would be a good technician. And so that's what I did. And then when I was in basic training, I got selected to apply for a program, or to at least have a chance at a program for U.S. Army Military Academy Preparatory School, prep school. And so I took some tests during basic training, the additional tests. And had I qualified based on those tests, then I could have gone on to the U.S. Military Academy Prep School. And if I had gotten through that, then I could have gone to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. But that just wasn't a thing. I scored poorly on English. Not speaking it, but I don't even remember what. But there's certain aptitudes you need to have to score high in English. I mean, we take English classes in high school. Again, not to learn English, but to learn proper English, sentence structure, and all that stuff, which I still suck at. So I didn't go that route. I continued on with what I went in for. far out are we? I got an hour left here. Hope I didn't miss this. I gotta check. Okay, yeah, we got 38 minutes of driving. And in the end, it all kind of worked out. I did a lot of cool things, as I said. I've lived all over, which is both good and bad. I've had a lot of interesting experiences. You know, living down the road from Rotten Bayou Cemetery. Was that? Yeah, I did talk about that. But I've lived in 8 different U.S. states, and 2 of them twice. This is the second time I've lived in Nevada. The downside of that is I never really put roots down. I mean, I've been here now for 12 years, and I don't feel like I have roots. I'm just here because it was convenient. I don't feel like this is where I want to live forever, but I don't see moving anytime soon. I would rather ooh. Why do I have something on? Oh well, let me just get parked and sort it out later. Like if I had my druthers, I'd move to Montana, raise me some dental floss. I wouldn't raise dental floss. But Montana's beautiful, if you've driven ATS, you know it's beautiful. It's like that in real life too. My sister lives in Montana, and I'm jealous. Guess I better get some fuel.
Isn't that where Bucks lives now?
Yep. In fact, they live in the same town. And that's purely coincidental.
Ruth C says ASVAB is Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery.
Thank you. I knew somebody would do that. I just didn't know you were there. That's my sister. Different sister. She lives in Kentucky.
Elliot says you would make a great Cub Scout leader, teaching the young students how to live and survive, teaching them the skills you have.
Ooh. No, I wouldn't. I don't have the patience for that. Did that guy hit me, or did I pull out in front of him?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
That guy right there. I should hit him again, just for good measure.
Willie says come to New York.
Yep.
Adam says I was trying different jobs while in the school program until I found the job I like. I tried computer, delivery, kitchen duty, cleaning, medical packing, and acting on stage.
Acting, huh? Interesting. Oh, what time is it? Rudy Tooty. That's what we used to call her.
White car came out of nowhere, says Taz.
That's what I thought. Did I get any damage? I didn't even notice. Got 1%. Alright. Oh, I can't advance the clock. I don't want to be late. What time is, what do I have? I got 30 hours. I'm going to lose 9. And I still have 10, 11 hours of driving, which means I probably need to find another place to sleep before I get to my final destination. Like right about there would be good. 9.5 hours. Too far. We'll shoot for that, see what happens. And there's that rain, I think. Yeah, Sound Fixes added some new sounds for the rain and the wipers. Man, could this be any narrower?
I'm sure it could.
I'm sure you're right. So it's 2 a.m. So we've got about 4 hours of darkness left, give or take. Turned on my cruise control. I guess I didn't. Okay, what's going on? Why is my cruise control not working? I have a... Can you see up at the top? I got a red warning thing going on. I don't know what that's about. I had that earlier too, and I don't know why I have it. Okay.
Cass says, sounds like your exhaust brake is on. Pilot says engine brake.
Well, yeah, that's the... Okay, that's what I did.
Yep, that changed the red thing up there.
And that's really what that icon is for, but I don't remember turning on the engine brake. I may have hit it when I was reaching for the retarder. Wrong button.
Adam says, I'm good at delivering and working in hospital kitchen as part of the job program. The others I was not good at. Even tried Modelis before it closed for good. Not my interest. Taz says, I think you need a nap.
Haven't had dinner yet. And it's already 8 p.m. here locally. I mean, I had a late lunch, but So here's something interesting. When I was a younger guy, high school age, teenager. Now, I did spend some time working on a farm, a dairy farm, very little time. That was more of my mom sending me to go work with my uncle to stay out of trouble. Because my mom was a single parent, so, and I was a handful. Anyway, I spent a lot of time there. That was neat. But I didn't get paid for that. It was just go do that and stay out of trouble. Kind of a thing. But actual jobs that I did as a teenager, one of my first real hourly wage job. Well, no, it was my first hourly wage job. I worked at a dog kennel, not too far from where we live, so I walked there. And I had to pick up the poop, and I had to wash down the raceways, the kennels for the dogs, and cut the grass at the place. I did all kinds of weird things, but I sucked at it apparently because I got fired. I don't remember what I did wrong. I'm sure it was just being a stupid teenager. I don't think I had any, at that stage of my life, I didn't have any of the traditional teenager jobs. Like I didn't work at McDonald's or Burger King or anything like that. But I, because we lived in a rural area, we had farms, but we also had other things, agricultural jobs. So I picked strawberries, blueberries, cucumbers, and these odd jobs it's kind of what we did to earn money so we could have a little bit better school clothes. So yeah, strawberries, cucumbers, flowers like daffodils or tulips. We picked tulip bulbs after the flowers were harvested. Then they dug up the bulbs, and so they're laying on the ground. We had to go pick them up, the buckets. Strawberries, I think I mentioned. We had literally, that was backbreaking work. We literally would move along on our knees, straddling the row of strawberry plants. We'd be picking the strawberries and put them into the little strawberry flat. And yeah, we had these little punch cards, and so when you come up with a full flat container, you got a punch on your card, and you got paid so much per punch. All kinds of things like that as a kid. So when I hear people lamenting, oh, child labor, they're making these kids work, well, I did it. Didn't do me any harm. I learned some good skills. I learned that I hate picking strawberries. Didn't like working in the fields so much. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't ideal.
Adam's eyes are getting sleepy, so he's heading out. And Willie just gifted 5 memberships. Ducky, Bogdan DD, Jorhita, Rusu, Oblivion, and Manny Oi are the lucky recipients.
Wow. Thank you, Willie. And congratulations to the lucky winners, if they're lucky recipients. Well, Oblivion and Ducky are sleeping, I'm sure, because they're both Well, Ducky lives in Belgium. Oblivion lives in Lithuania. Not sure about the others. Although Manny might be in India, I think, maybe. I could be wrong. Yeah, kind of a rough upbringing. I mean, we were poor. And I didn't really think about it much at the time. But I know what government cheese tastes like. Because we used to get it.
Yeah, we did too growing up. Along with the government peanut butter.
I don't remember that. I'm sure we got it, but I just don't remember that. I mean, I assume anyway. Nearest way station.
Fight says it's actually pretty good.
I like peanut butter, I just don't know. Is that scale over here? Whoa. Or is this it? $37 tons.
I remember the government peanut butter being like rock hard.
Yeah, I have
Very
no memory
hard.
of that.
Very hard to spread. And Tess said the cheese, that is. The peanut butter was, yeah, what Lurch said.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, well, in high school, there were two different things that I remember wanting to be. Well, in the fifth or sixth grade, I remember wanting to join the Navy to be on submarines, and then that didn't happen. Not only because my interests changed. I wanted to be a pilot. By the time I was in high school, I wanted to be a pilot. I don't remember how I came to that conclusion, but I knew I wanted to fly. Well, I couldn't become a naval aviator or an Air Force pilot because of my vision. So that was out. Another thing I wanted to do was to be an architect. but I had no means of going to college. So I wound up joining the Army and wound up becoming a technician. And then later in life, in my corporate years, this is kind of funny, because we did a lot of casino projects from scratch. And even remodeling existing ones. And I wound up working with architects and even directing them in certain ways on projects, which really blew me away because I didn't feel like I was qualified to tell these guys how to do their jobs or what to do or whatever. And I wasn't. But they were really good at taking a concept or an idea, where they could say whether or not you could do it, and then they'd make it happen. So we were working on a project in Minnesota one time, doing a remodel, and the thing that the area that I was responsible for, we were directly impacted by a structural support column. It was in the way. So I was talking to the architect that I was working with at the time on that project. I said, I think it was that one, or maybe it was a different one. But anyway, because it was the same guy, because we worked on different projects together. But I had commented, I'm like, yeah, that column's in the way. Too bad we can't move it. And next thing I know, I'm looking at construction drawings for that particular area, and that's when I found out you can put in different columns and then bridge with the original column farther up to set on. I had no idea. They were masters at that. They knew how to get it done. So there were, after a couple of times of things like that, what's going on here? After a couple of incidents like that, I came to the conclusion I need to be careful what I say. And the reason why I felt like I needed to be careful what I said is because they would make it work, but they weren't the ones responsible for what the cost would be. My boss was, which made me responsible for that. But if it made sense, they found the money to do it. So that was cool.
Susan has to go.
Hey, Susan. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Must be tomorrow for you.
Pilot Bro says, wait a minute. That's what happened to me. My eyes failed me too on junior year.
What? What'd he say?
His eyes failed him his junior year.
Oh, I always had bad eyes, but you went through something like that? Where you had to start wearing glasses? I think I had to start wearing glasses in grade school.
Yeah, so did I. 4th grade.
Yeah, something like that. It didn't just suddenly develop. I finally got my eyes checked. When I had complained enough times that, like, I got to sit up front because I can't see what's on the board. My mom took me to the eye doctor and I got a checkup, and I'm like, oh yeah, you need to wear glasses. First time I put glasses on, oh my god, I had no idea what I was missing out on. Rick, if you'd have been here, you'd have heard Susan was here. We thought you were hiding from Nightbot. Especially after this morning when you went to joined us for the members live stream. You were throwing emojis all over the chat before the stream even started. So I guess I'm gonna move over. Or not. Is this Albania? Must be. So Pilot, did you have good vision before your junior year? Is that what you're suggesting? Or was that how long it took to realize that you needed glasses? Ooh. Speaking of which, I need to go get I need a new eye exam. I am way overdue. To give you an idea of how bad my vision was the last couple times I got it checked, like 2300 and 2400. I don't remember which eye is which, and I would imagine it's probably worse now.
Pilot says, nope, vision was great. Noticed I couldn't pick up the spin as well while catching one night.
Did something happen? Did you have an injury?
Tazofied says, that's clinically blind without glasses.
Yes. Yes, it is. I cannot drive without glasses. I can't do much at all. I mean, I can get up in the middle of the night and go use the bathroom without them on. I just can't see what I'm doing.
Pilot adds, just the shape of my eye is stigmatism.
Ah. Like that owl on the dash. He's always looking north. wonder, can I make it to that rest area? I don't remember how far that is. We got 4 hours of driving to get there. We got almost 4 hours on the clock. So yeah, I guess we're doing okay. Still there, Lurch?
Yeah. Oh, pilot says, I blame a cheesy military movie from the 80s for making me want to go into the Air Force.
What movie was that? And what did you want to do in the Air Force? And did you go in the Air Force? Because I don't remember if you ever mentioned that before. And you may have, I just forget things.
Iron Eagle. He wanted
Oh,
to fly
yeah.
he wanted to fly the F-16 and no, ended up at Debbie for computer engineering instead. Probably means now.
Oh, DeVry.
Oh, DeVry.
So you didn't go in the Air Force then? Yeah, I like that movie, Iron Eagle. But I mean, I think I was already out of the military by that time. Of course, I'm a few years older than you. Yeah, it was a cheesy movie, but I liked it.
Is the Iron Eagle 2?
I've seen it. It's not as good.
He says, no, but I kept the pilot in my screen name.
Right. That's right.
And he's seen all of them.
There were more than 2?
I think there was 4.
Really? Well, I remember one of them, the opening scenes.
He says they've got 5.
What? How many of them went straight to VHS or DVD?
I like Lou Gossett Jr. on that one.
Yeah. I like Louis Gossett Jr. in pretty much everything he's ever done that I recall.
Pilot says the Air Force refused to help them film the movie because of how far-fetched it was, so they went to Israel.
We got a detour. We're going to be...
And he thinks 3 of the 5 went straight to DVD.
Okay. Which one was it where it opened up and it was really stupid. Of course, it was a cheesy B movie where it opened up and they were shooting. People were getting hit and falling and playing dead, but it didn't seem like they were playing dead. And it just turned out that they were doing splat ball. But it made it look like they were using real guns with, automatic weapons, and nobody had eye protection that I recall. Was that the first one or the second one? Or is that not any of them? And we didn't call it splatball when I was doing it. We called it paintball.
He says that was 3.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. Anyway, that scene reminded me of another interesting thing that I got to do in my time. I was big into paintball in, I guess that would be the late 80s, early 90s. Well, that would make sense that would have come out later. Anyway, point being that was the first time that I was featured in some capacity in a publication. I was had like 5 pages where I was featured in a paintball magazine, because I was big into that, and I wound up meeting a journalist that wrote for that particular magazine. I forget what it was. I met him in California. Actually, we went to a called Big Game in Southern California. Wound up meeting a journalist and talking, and next thing I know, he's coming to. We lived in Kingman at that time in Arizona. He came out there and hung out with us, took pictures. I even got to write a one-page piece that was included. That was pretty cool, being featured in a national magazine like that. And that happened again, except the next time I wasn't featured, but I was involved. Some other friends of mine were featured the next time. And those guys, because we went and played with them in Tucson, and I think it was the same place where that movie was shot, or at least that scene, the opening scene of Iron Eagle 3. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that was the same place, because it was a western town, a western set, just outside of Tucson. Ooh, we have got to find a place to park. Got the yawns. I got an hour. I'm not going to make it to that place that I planned. We'll stop here. Here's the one I dropped right there. Not going to make that. Well, I was featured in 2 different. I don't know if it was different, but 2 different issues anyway of a national paintball magazine. Well, I was featured in the first one, and then I was involved in the second one. And then I was in other magazines later in my gaming casino career. Not featured necessarily, but I was like interviewed and had a little blurb. And I've been on TV and radio. Both times I was interviewed by a local television station in Duluth. And then for a newspaper and somewhere else in Minnesota, I don't remember where it was.
Would that be KDLH or KDIO?
In Duluth? I don't remember it. That was a long time ago. Come on, this should be a sleep trigger. And then I was on a Minneapolis radio station interview once. thought that would be cooler. Actually, I got interviewed over the phone for another radio station, I think, in Duluth. Ooh, I am rubbing. I'm rubbing the wrong way. And then on the other magazines, they were trade journals for the casino industry. Here we go. So yeah, I've done a lot of cool things over the years. All right, let's see. We've got, 2.5 hours to get there, and it's about 2 hours and 46 minutes of driving time. Yeah, that detour killed us. Gonna be late. Pedal to the metal. And just like that, we're waiting. Yeah, I thought they were gonna wait for me. Oh, wait, 2 hours 36 minutes of driving time to get there, and we have 2 hours and 16 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna be late. I don't think I can make up a half hour or 20 minutes even. You know, I talked about valuing my time, my service in the military, but I didn't do anything particularly special. Well, Tads, if I can get around these people, I will be speeding. Oh, it's 30. There's a 2-hour warning. I mean, I got to do some cool things, like, you know, go to Germany. That was cool. Jeez. like I didn't go and, you know, I was never in any kind of mortal danger that I'm aware of, outside of the normal stuff. You know, I wasn't in combat or anything. However, I almost went on a mission, a temporary duty mission to Beirut in 1983. You know, technical stuff, you know, which is what I did. And they needed a team, or they wanted a team to go to Beirut. And at that point in time, I was stateside and I was bored out of my gourd because it wasn't the same as being overseas. So I started volunteering for things. Well, we wound up not going. They canceled the mission. And then a few weeks later, the terrorists bombed the Marine barracks at the airport, which is where we would have been. I stopped volunteering for stuff.
Huh.
At least stuff like that. That was about as close to something serious as I ever got that I'm aware of. But otherwise, I did like being in the military. I mean, I had my own issues, behavioral issues. Like I was still dealing with some maturity issues at that point in time. I mean, I was only like 22 at that point. Ooh, 60, 50, 40. $80. Eurus. Yeah, I really gotta watch the speed here because the speed limits changed a lot. $60. Must have been a speed hump. This must be another one. Dirty. $40. Well, we are getting closer here. We're down to almost 100 kilometers. Want to remind everybody who's in our Discord and drives American Truck Simulator, we do have a convoy in the Discord tomorrow. If you would like to participate, just make sure that you've got your game configured to find 128 slot servers. I did create a video on how to do that, and it's on my channel, but it's also linked to I have a link to the video in the Discord. So we can get on a lot of people. And then don't make me pull this truck over, Willie. And then I made an announcement in the Casey. I was wondering what's going on with you. Hadn't seen you in a while. I know you got computer issues, but
Caleboo says good evening and smash that like. Hope all is well.
thank you. Caleboo, welcome to the stream. Yes, smash that like. I don't know how many we got. Anyway, so I'm taking next week off from streaming. Need a little break. Might still do some regular videos, maybe. But got a lot going on. I've had a lot going on for a while, and I need a little bit of a break. So I wanted to get through this weekend because I had a members live stream earlier today, and I already put that off from last weekend. So I'll take next weekend off. Unless Iowa comes out. I don't think Iowa's coming out this coming week.
Casey says working. 6 days a week, only FedEx, just got home.
Yep, been there, done that.
Sorry, I missed you too.
Yeah, when I was, of course, when I do the shout-outs, your name is on the list, but I was going through and updating the shout-outs list, and your name's on there, and I'm like, you know, haven't heard from him in a while. Wonder what's going on. I mean, I know you've got, you said you weren't going to be driving much lately. But still, one wonders. So we're going to get there right around midnight. And we're going to be late. Oh, we are dodging traffic too.
just moved to a new apartment and I will set everything up for the next month.
I hate moving, and I have a lot of experience with it. I talked about that earlier. I moved a lot. Mostly in the military, but even after. Like, every couple of years I was moving. And sometimes more often than that. I still have some boxes probably that I've never opened or unpacked. Before I moved here, which was about 12-ish years ago, the longest I'd ever lived in one place was 6 years. Why don't you guys go? Wow. Yeah, that's a Swifty and I don't care. Oh, we're not going there.
Casey just gifted 5 memberships, and the lucky recipients are Benny, Osiris 9216, Anderson Tanker 2023, Keystone, and RIP Ferris Hilly.
Well, congratulations to the lucky recipient, and thank you, Casey. For adding some more folks to the list. You and Willie. Hard to tell in its darkness if I'm even going the right way.
Casey says, doing my part.
There's a sleep trigger right there. I remember starting a convoy at a place like this. I'm sure it wasn't the same place, but it was a place like this. Oh wow, this is those boxes are really in the way.
Very convincing truck sounds, says Omega.
Yes, I'm using the Zeemods sound mods. Ooh, can I go through there and come back around? I don't think I can. Nope. I'll just have to back in.
Sounds great in my car, blowing the cobwebs out.
Oh, this didn't work at all. Yeah, we are seriously late. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's start over. Well, by start over, I mean I have a different plan. I don't know if it's gonna work though. I thought there might be enough room to turn around back here. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Late. 45 minutes. Yeah, there was no way to avoid that once we got that detour.
268 hardcore points, no stars.
Yep. Well, at least I got some hardcore points, but mostly I just wanted to get the load run in and check that off the list. And I'm just going to pull into this sleep area here, just and park it there. Well, maybe I'll go ahead and sleep because I need to be ready for the next run, wherever that's going. Where is that going? Did you already look that up?
No.
Oh, you looked up where this one was going.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm on the trigger. I can't drop my trailer. I don't have a trailer.
UK.
Ooh, Albania to United Kingdom. That's a long one. Really? Oh, just hit the sleep trigger. Must be closer to that truck there. Okay, midnight. Now it is 9:30 in the morning. Let's have a look at that map. So when I started out, I was at 46.0. Now we're at 46.3. I like to keep track of that. Like, how much am I going to explore? So if I found a load right now to United Kingdom, how far is it? There isn't one. Okay, so it's going to be one of those. Can't find it. Okay, that's going to do it. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Thanks for sticking it out with me. This long.
3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours, 4 minutes. Oh my God, that's insane. Really didn't want to do that, but thanks for sticking with me, guys. And Lurch, thanks for sticking it out. And remember, there's a convoy in the Discord tomorrow, and then I'm not planning to stream next weekend unless Iowa comes out. but maybe I'll make some videos. So we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. I did get one Swifty. Let me reset that. Probably had
Make
two
sure you
Swifties.
hit that like button.
Yes. You haven't already. And we'll see y'all. Some of you I'll see tomorrow, and some of you I'll see throughout the week in the Discord. The rest of you I'll see in a weekend after next. Thanks a lot.